Mr. Schultz, you choose the point of view of a child to describe the disability. Why?
In my memoir, My Dyslexia, um, i- the narrator is going back and remembering what it was like as a child. It's not exclusively like an I from a child, right? It's because I was trying to, since I spent most of my life not knowing I was dyslexic. My son knew from the second grade. But since I didn't know, I wanted to go back to the time when I didn't know I had a disability, and I just thought I was stupid. I was in school, they put me and two others at a special table, and we were the slow children. It was called the dummy table. And we never saw the front of the teacher, just the back. And so I wanted to let people know what it was like to go through that experience where you weren't considered intelligent enough even to be an attempt to made to teach us. And that is a situation with a lot of children even today, where in public school they don't know how to teach children with learning disabilities. There's laws now and everything, but that's why I went back to, because I wanted to, even for myself, to understand what that pain was like, what that really thinking that it didn't just affect my learning, I couldn't learn anything. And being held back twice. So it was quite an experience.
Our society is careful enough to disability.
Well, that's a good question. We're, in the States, we're connected to organizations that try to help. And I have a school. And we even teach teachers how to teach dyslexic children how to write. And it's much better. My son grew up knowing he was dyslexic, it was a disability, and he's very smart, and he feels smart. He doesn't feel dumb. Sometimes he feels too smart. But what I grew up with, he isn't. There's still many children who are suffering. The ones who can't afford to go to special schools, for instance. There are many schools throughout the country that deal exclusively with LD, learning disabled students. And they're wonderful. The students learn in a special way. There are special techniques. But the vast majority of dyslexic children who are poor can't afford or don't go to those schools. So much more can be done. Much more can be done.
You choose another special character, a dog walker. So you can tell us why?
I made up a character who had just had electroshock treatments, and he was put on the street. And he was a dog walker. I made him, he had to have a profession, but I made him a dog walker because I wanted dogs as a metaphor for in the book, there are teachers. They teach humans how to be human. I did the electroshock treatment as a metaphor. Do you know the word?
Yeah.
Because everybody in New York was in shock. It was as if we had all just gotten electroshock and were put on the street and didn't know what was going on or where we were. So that's why I made it. I didn't want it to be me. Wasn't in a psych ward. I didn't have electroshock treatment. People think it was me. Even now I find people come up to me and they think I'm a dog walker. No, I was never a dog walker.
Which is the real power of poetry from your point of view?
What's my strongest? Wow, that's a very good question. Well, with a long poem like that, I tried for years to be a novelist. And none of my novels were any good. I liked them, but no one else. But I did learn how to write novels. So I have a narrative structure that allows me to take a lyric and turn it into a longer poem. So I learned something valuable. Not every poet, I think, can do that, a narrative. I can write a short poem musically and make it into a longer story. So that may be my strength.
The last question is about Mantova. How do you feel in these days?
I wrote my wife this morning, said I'm not coming back. I haven't heard back from her yet. Love it. Oh my God. I think it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I mean, you have everything from lakes to ancient times. I went to the pavilion of where the Titian is. Where I forget the name of it. Tay. Oh my God. It's very beautiful. It's very special. You have the modern and the ancient. And it's not side by side, but it's one. Do you understand? And that I have never seen. To actually live in history. It's like your neighbor is history. And that is quite remarkable. That's quite remarkable. Beautiful, the squares, all the young people. I think it's a very beautiful. Everyone. I see people in their 80s on bicycles. I think that's marvelous. Wow. This is how they got to be that age, because they ride bicycles. Very strong. And the food, of course, is spectacular. It's wonderful. I will no longer eat my wife's cooking.